What's up, Internet? I'm Yoshi on the go. Welcome to the channel where we continue the Halo 20th anniversary, Xbox 20th anniversary saga. And this is my entire Xbox controller collection video. There's a lot of them. Let's get started. First and foremost, we've got the original Xbox. This is it. We got just these four. This is one of the ones that just came with this Xbox. And it's just a third party, pretty janky. GF. Super angular, very uncomfortable. It's pretty bad. Not quite so bad, but we've got the Chinese knockoff. This is actually a very good replica. You notice there is no Xbox logo on the little button here. And this actually does work pretty well. Feels good. A benefit of this one is that the end connection is just connected. It's not separated by two different parts like all the standard Xbox original controllers are, which is super weird. Then, of course, we've got the official, as you can see, it's branded with that beautiful Xbox logo. For your reference, these are all the S versions of the controller, not the Duke. S being small, I guess. As far as I can tell, this was the first S redesign, being in like 2002 or 2003, and this is what all future Xbox controllers were based off of. This is a good one. And even before like iPhone and the iPhone 3GS and the iPhone 4S, 5S, 6S, Xbox did it first. Then we got the translucent green one. I don't have a regular black one, which is something I should probably get a few more colors of this just for the sake of nostalgia, I guess, or just in case, you know, for backups if some of these break. I don't necessarily know how to like fix them. Official Xbox one, and then of course the greatest one, the rarest one. Again, translucent green, but this one has the Halo logo on the button, which is pretty cool. In reference to the Halo Special Edition. One other thing that I've mentioned before, but not in this video, is that there's actually these two slots right here, which are for memory cards, which is totally crazy. Thing of the past, because we all have hard drives, we all have cloud storage. You log into your friend's account at their house, and then by the time you get home, all your stuff is synced over already before you even like turn off the Xbox, which is pretty cool. So you don't really need memory cards anymore. Back in the day, before internet was really fast enough to do a lot of those things, we just stored our player save data on memory cards and brought them with us to other people's homes, and we had all of our stuff ready to go for late nights. So that's it for my Xbox controllers. Let's move on to the Xbox 360. Alright, now next up we've got the 360 controllers. To start, we've got the special Halo editions. The official Halo 3 controller is just empty shell. So I'll have to do an inventory of all of my other Xbox controllers to see which ones work the best and do a little shell swap. Next up, we've got the special edition Halo ODST version, which is actually quite controversial because ODST started as like downloadable content, like a story expansion for Halo 3. So yeah, very controversial at start, but it's definitely proved its worth. It's a really great Halo game. And here's a look at that. It's beautiful. Now I do have these little nubs because I have worn them down quite a bit, but it's a good look at that. And then of course the Halo 4 console came with two controllers. Got the super cool semi-translucent UNSC version, which is super cool. I'm saying super cool a lot because they're all really cool. If they're not cool, I'm not going to buy them. Got the Forerunner. And the cool thing about this controller is that this is actually kind of a side experiment with the D-pad, because the D-pad for both the original, the Duke, the Xbox S controller, as well as the 360 controller, the D-pad just hasn't been very well regarded. So they tried this experiment where you could have the standard D-pad just as it is, or if you twist it, it snaps and these little sides fill in, so it's a lot easier to like your thumb on, I guess. Now, it controls the exact same way either way, but the feeling is completely different, and this ended up being, I think, the main inspiration behind the little dish D-pad in the Pro controller, as well as the new series controllers, which we'll end the video with. But that's kind of cool, a little experiment that you can literally change the physical nature of the hardware by twisting it like that, which is kind of cool.
I didn't know that.
We actually have two more special edition Halo 3 controllers, and these are them. We've got the Brute and the Master Chief / Spartan limited edition console controllers. Now, this Brute one is actually mine. I've had this since like the day it came out, which is super cool. This Spartan one I got a little bit later. Got two black ones, regular old black, nothing fancy. This is the standard controller, and then of course we've got the standard white Xbox 360 controller. This is the one that came with my very first Xbox, the white 360S. Do you remember Circuit City?
Yes.
Did you ever go to Circuit City?
Yeah, my brother-in-law, he's always inviting me over to watch his big, fancy TV.
And you hate him for it. So you want something bigger and better for a lot less money.
Yeah.
I guess you're just
At Circuit City, we have all the hottest new TVs, from HD TV to plasma, LCD, and more. And with unbeatable prices guaranteed, you'll find the perfect one. Circuit City.
That was my jam. Before Target,
I got my first laptop from there. It was a compact, and it's like $600, and that thing's a brick.
yeah,
It's
it's beautiful.
giant.
Yeah, at the time, so Circuit City, like probably one of the greatest consumer electronics retail store in America, anyways. And yeah, they were fortunately they went out of business. They had a fire sale, and I got the second to last Pro Xbox 360 with a astonishingly huge hard drive. I don't remember if it was 20 gigabytes or 60 gigabytes, but that was a very exciting moment. And I wish desperately that I had like brought my camera and like walked around the store slowly and filmed it, but I didn't. So, but anyways, I got that white controller. One of my favorite things about Xbox controllers is that they're just really, really good. So the new PS5 controller, the DualSense, is getting a lot of press, and I think in some technical aspects may be superior to the Xbox controller, and that's why it's getting all the headlines. But in the reality is that Xbox, aside from the Duke, after the Duke, Xbox just got it right the first time. And ever since then, the Xbox S controller, the 360 controller, and then the Xbox One controller, the Series controller, it's just perfect. And that's why I think Xbox controllers are the best, but also not just because they have cool colors and limited editions like anyone does, but they also have the Xbox Design Lab, which lets you literally customize your own controller in every conceivable manner. They have a bunch of like disability focused accessories for like controllers. That's fantastic that they're not just like, oh, you have to have 2 hands and 10 fingers in order to play games. Everyone's welcome. So yeah, the DualSense is cool, I guess. Xbox is king when it comes to controllers. Anyways, here's my Yoshi on the Go edition. I really would like to make a Yoshi on the Go 2 version, so maybe I'll do that when I have money. Stay tuned. But we've done the unboxing video for this. Here's the quick turnaround. I love the rubber grips. Now, what's very interesting about Xbox One, got my One X right here, is that there's actually 3 different generations of controllers. The first generation, Xbox calls the V-neck, which I am wearing a V-neck, because the Xbox shell was actually in like a couple different pieces. There's this front part, and then the shoulder buttons is kind of like recessed. And I also have a white version of this, but it's at my mom's house. Call it the V-neck, and that's the generation 1. Now the V-neck, you can kind of, if you hear the shoulder buttons are super stiff and super hard to handle, and even the D-pad was really clicky. But that's like the first generation of Xbox One controllers. Now for the second generation of controllers, they have the same basic body, but they redesigned the shoulder buttons as well as the D-pad. I think the only Gen 2 controllers I have are the Halo editions. We've got the Halo 5 Spartan Lock and the Halo 5 Master Chief edition. So they had the same basic design with the V-neck, except for the shoulder buttons. You feel it, it's a lot softer, and it just feels a lot better. And then the D-pad too is a lot softer, and it just works. You don't have to like... Got the Halo 5 edition, which we have 2 of these. This is the one that came with the console. You can see the logo is a little bit scratched off, but that's okay. And of course, this controller design and the console, for the most part, is largely inspired by Spartan Locke and his armor design with like the blue visor and the cold steel look, because he's so cool. I have no problem with all the new characters that were introduced in Halo 5, but the vast majority of the Halo community were like, what the heck, this is way too much. And then this marks in the 3rd generation of Xbox One controllers. First, of course, starting with my Xbox Design Lab Yoshi controller. The main thing is that it's just a unibody design, so there's no more V-neck. It's all one flush piece of plastic. Now we've got this white one right here that came with my One X. This is a really nice one. It's classic, just black and white. Microsoft has the Shadow series of controllers, where basically one end is completely opaque and it slowly gradiates to see-through. And in this case, this is the white version, but there's like a super sick purple version, and there's a whole bunch of other, like there's like a red camo version as well. This is one of my favorites. Look how clean that looks, guys. Ugh. Again, another reason I really want Microsoft to include these translucent plastics for Xbox Design Lab. That would be so sick. A very special Duke controller. Now this is not officially made by Microsoft anymore, but it is the exact same design, lovingly recreated by Hyperkin. Now that I have bigger adult hands, it's actually a lot nicer. It's actually not bad. It is just a wired controller, but this one actually features a special screen where every time you click on it, it like does the original Xbox boot up. And actually Hyperkin at the end of January is set to release another series of Duke controllers for the 20th anniversary, which would technically be series Xbox controllers. A series of Xbox Series controllers, because they have the share button and all that stuff. Take a look at that. And that brings us to the last of the Xbox controller collection. Whew! And that's of course the Xbox Series controller, which you could possibly consider, if you want to, the 4th generation Xbox One controller, if you want to. First one being the Volt. Look at this beautiful highlighter yellow-green color. Freaking love this, it's so nice. Biggest thing you'll notice probably right off the bat is the new D-pad. I believe is inspired directly from that experiment with the older 360 controller. Got that share button, which is a hardware feature. Instead of holding the Xbox button and then pressing X or Y and then waiting for it to work, you just tap it and it's great. It also has new features, these little micro grips on the handle as well as on all of the triggers and the shoulder buttons. And the new face is a flush piece of plastic. Instead of having that cool little swoopy V-neck design, it's just kind of boring, actually. It's boring, but it's fine, I like it. So here's the Volt controller, and of course, we just did the unboxing video for the newest member of my family, the 20th anniversary collection, which features rubber grips yet again in a nice green, Xbox green color. One thing that it's hard to come across, but we've got the 20th anniversary logo underneath the plastic, as well as this green metal ring surrounding the D-pad, which is super cool. You also saw this in the unboxing video, but I wanted to mention it out. Every single one of the battery covers has this thing signed by Phil Spencer, the Xbox head lead person. When everybody plays, we all win. Truer words have not been spoken. Thanks, Phil. It's awesome. And good golly gosh, people, that is it. That's my controller collection video. What a time to be alive. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.